from the hammy. Jed Buse is the other inclusion. No Gary Rowan or Reece Stanley. So no recognised ruckman moons. Could be a big factor when the Saints have Rowan Marshall. Young Shannon Neal played last week and played pretty well, but look, they're still missing Guthrie, obviously Rowan, as we see there, and Stanley. Blitzarves is the other one. So if they can get these guys back over the next couple of weeks, you know, look out. But they really do. Oh, clearly, they have to win the night term to keep their season alive. Yeah.
The real interest for me in this game is, can Cal Wilkie and Josh Battle contain Hawkins and Jeremy Cameron? Well, Cordy will lend assistance as well. You get the feeling that they might have to load up in the back half to stop those. If you give those two one-on-ones, pure one-on-ones, they'll probably kick a score that is worthy of winning this game.
I think Cameron really in the last couple of weeks has been building to what he did last week against Collingwood. I think that head knock with Rowan probably took him a little bit longer to come back than we thought. He had a shoulder injury as well, so just in the last couple of weeks you feel like he's getting back to his best, and when he is at his best, he's arguably the best in the competition.
And the Saints have a real chance in the rucks, as you made mention, to actually get a bit of ascendancy there. I know it's so commonplace to say it that if we always say if Dangerfield has a really good game, but he's not a lone hand, but he really has to play well. And if he plays well, I think the Cats win. But it's kind of on him. You know, it's not a terribly deep midfield, as the two lads you talked about, Guthrie and also Blitzarve, still out of that side. It's not a very, very deep midfield. And the Saints have got a few they can run through there, so Dangerfield has to be Dangerfield once again.
And it feels like we've been saying that for the last few weeks.
Well, they're a big possession team, St Kilda, aren't they? They possess the ball, they mark the ball, so they're going to make Geelong defend. And that probably over the last few weeks has been Geelong's Achilles heel, really. They haven't been able to defend, particularly through the midfield. So if they make them defend and run, they might just get over the top of them.
This is the Saints side. They've remained unchanged. They've hit a bit of a groove now. There was a bit of a lull where people thought they might drop out of the eight and perhaps, you know...
Paddy forgot his gift. That was rude.
It's a tail. Thanks, mate.
So he's had the first win of the night, Patrick Dangerfield. But this Saints side, they've come together again. They've overcome that little bit of a lull. Max King is back. He's had a great game last week. And finals football is there for the taking tonight.
I think we have to see that they're able to score. We know that when you get to finals, teams who can defend really, really well, they squeeze the life out of oppositions who are accented on just scoring or predominantly on scoring. But this Saints team has to be able to score as frequently as it has in the last month or so, has to be able to do that against really good opposition. So they get a chance tonight against an outfit which is led by Tom Stewart down back. So they know what they're doing defensively, the Cats. So if they can score against this team, it shows that they're capable of doing some damage in September.
And Ross Lyon mentioned Tom Stewart a number of times during his midweek press conference, so he's certainly one to watch from a Saints point.
Simple as if I'm coaching against Geelong, I'm tagging Tom Stewart. Simple as that. He's their most important player, the most damaging player. And
so how do you do it? I mean,
well, you just play a defensive forward on him. You know, just go and stand on him.
Do you spoil him? Do you play him back shoulder, or do you try and take him to the ball,
you know what?
or play through his man?
Play through his man. Play through his man and lead up. Now, we just see Hawkins there under the goal square, so that's going to be an interesting matchup, Kath.
Here we go, the first quarter live from Marvel Stadium. It's the Saints and the Cats.
Outstanding young defender. He did well. He got over Marshall. Marshall's had a brilliant year himself. DeConing goes back. What a big night it's going to be for DeConing.
High contact. Advantage.
Advantage is paid. Seb Ross, the first inside 50. Appeared to have his arm held. Jack Higgins, free kick. And they're going to pay advantage to Owens, who has taken it and fortunately for him, kicked the goal. Like all good small forwards, Jack Higgins is not that happy. Owens took the chance and perfect start. Took about 15 seconds for the Saints to kick their first.
Speak about Saints that have really performed this year. Look at the number 10 on screen. He has had a phenomenal season in terms of goals scored, assists, games played and influence.
Well, it's going to be a critical battle tonight. We know the kind of form that Marshall is in, and we just see there Higgins with his arm held and then being able to take the advantage and work it out between them. And as you touched on, Hammer, Mitch Owens with a terrific year this year and gets the first of the Saints on the board.
Only missed that one game, missed two with concussion, but one was the bye. 25th goal for the year. Quick start for the Saints. Duncan floats handball back to O'Connor, who's happy to move it wide to Stewart, who is on the move. Happy to go low. Kick intercepted in the end by Duncan, but came unstuck. Sinclair. Mason Wood on the outer side. Gets to his left side and works it forward again. King with Ratugolea all over him, but Max King can bring up the Saints second in quick time.
It was off the back of that ball use that Ross talked about before the game, where they just were able to link up, share the ball, run and carry. It was calm, but they were taking space, and by creating a good turnover, it meant that they were kicking into a forward line with space and one-on-one contest, and the ball just at the favoured side, and Max King able to protect the space there, take the mark.
Set shots have been kind to him this year. 16-5, 8-2 since returning, 22-8 for the year. No score here. Across the face. And Hughes, one of the twins for the Cats. Along with Tom Hawkins, runs his full measure. Off to Atkins. Gresham applies the pressure. That's Gonski. Real intent early from the Saints.
Stand.
Terrific forward pressure from Gresham. Be thrilled with that, where a forward can come up and put that kind of heat on the ball coming out of his forward line.
Webster, not sure, and then back towards Windhager. Over the top to Gresham. Gets where he started this play. Lobs it forward, but all Geelong. And O'Connor on the last line. Puts it across the face of goals to Kolajasny, who contemplates where to next.
Try and pierce his way through the forward press, but Bradley Hill awake to it. Early stage of this game, but a sharp start here from the Saints. Hill sees the target he likes. Beautifully weighted kick, but still couldn't get his hands up. The Cats defenders to Koning, but they're going to trap it again. Ross with another early disposal. Through the hands of Crouch. Mason Wood launches a shot at goal. It's going to slide through. Didn't get there. Goal umpire in perfect shape. No score review required.
You can already tell the St Kilda sentiment is to really be aggressive with their ball movement. That inside kick from Hill. High risk, high reward for the Saints. They're going to put this Cats backline under real pressure.
Cats raffling it around in their defensive 50. Haven't had a disposal yet in their forward half. Ratugolea. Back to Tui.
This is that controlled ball use that Chris Scott spoke to us in the pre-game about, but turnover here.
Yeah, absolutely, Lee. Desperate stuff in the end from Hughes. Pinged again. King the tackler.
On the ball.
Higgins wanted to go. Probably a little lucky because Duncan was waiting for him. 50 the call. Saints will get their second and lead by 13.
50.
What a journey it has been for the man on screen. King will kick the goal. Saints will get their second. And it's a punchy start. 18 disposals to 17, but it doesn't feel right now as though Geelong has had anything on their terms.
Well, the Saints did a great job just slowing them down. We just see Ross here forcing the turnover, which Max King was then able to apply the tackle and create the holding the ball. And we just see this tackle here, just that slinging motion that doctors will have a look at that. Higgins' head hitting the turf.
Perfect start for the Saints. That's a throw from Stengel. Umpire away to it. You just see Jack Higgins there getting a little assessment, as Joe Watson predicted a moment ago. Inside 50, go the Saints again. Nervous moments back here. O'Connor. Oh, brilliant. Chase down, tackle again. What a start this is for St Kilda. It's gone the other way, has it?
6-0 inside 50s and 5-2 tackles to St Kilda, who are bringing great pressure around the ball, and they're able to do so at great field position, winning the clearances and centre bounces.
Thought Mitch Owens would come up with another big play there, but a little bit of relief here momentarily for the Cats. It's all been played in the Saints forward half to Koning. Huge night for Sam De Koning against one of the informed ruckmen in the game, Rowan Marshall.
Athletically by De Koning in the end, knocked it down. Bruin, forward it goes, and then a bit of speed. Webster got there before Stengel. Tackle, didn't get rid of the football. Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. The first foray forward really for Geelong, and only as far as the 50-metre arc. Athletic in the end was Neil over the top. High ball sent back towards the wing. Bose and Hill neither read it well.
Feels like they're going to just split that ruck duty as the ball goes into the forward half. Neil will take it, and then from the centre back, it looks like De Koning will be the recognised ruckman, creating a spare behind the ball for Geelong defensively.
And here comes Shannon Neal, the fourth gamer. Exciting athlete, 203 centimetres. Chris Scott told us just before the game what an elite middle distance runner he is, but huge role for both the young big man for the Cats tonight. Ross has been prominent early. Radaglia from behind over Membry. Here is Marshall. Flicks it back out in front of Membry. Missed the first 10 games of the year. They'll be happy to have him back out there now. Tim Membry fighting hard. Stewart back there. Radaglia got through the tackle of Bradley Hill, and the Cats through Holmes, and O'Connor still got to fight hard. The forward pressure elite from the Saints early. Here's the captain, Jack Steele, keeping it alive. Back to Membry. Well tackled by Bruin, but
At ground level, guys, you can just see how quickly St Kilda are pressing up. As soon as a Geelong player gets the footy, they're in their face immediately. The options down the ground are covered really well, meaning the Cats players just holding onto that footy a half a second longer than they'd probably like to. And the tacklers onto them. A really impressive start by the Saints.
Dancing through in the end, Ross. Drops it at about 40 metres from home. Stewart will tap forward. Sinclair there first. Wanganeen-Milera weighs up the options. Outstanding kick. Terrific work from Radaglia. The kick was good. The Sava had to be outstanding, and was.
Yeah, it was a terrific spoil. Just really timely there. Got the fist in just as King was extending the arms. Really good defensive play by Radaglia.
Marshall, De Koning again. Dancing about. Marshall knocks it down. Windhager puts it over the top to Gresham. Bose puts pressure on. Opportunity for Holmes. Dug it out, gave it off to Bruin, to Tui. Thought about Bose, gets some shelter from him in the end and hacks it around the corner. Desperate from Stengel. Had to be in the end. De Koning went fishing for it. Couldn't find it. Myers, beaten to it by Holmes. Gets it in the end. Myers from Duncan. Almost runs out of room. Kick off a shin. Allows Sinclair to dart in, float it forward. Front spot in the end. Kolajasny. Owens spins himself out of trouble. Got the handball to Butler. Butler went low. Bouncing ball for Radaglia. Doesn't want to concede, at least not initially. Keen to keep it in play. Off to Stewart. He'll concede in the end.
Well, under the rules there, if you've got an option to dispose of the ball and you go over the line, even if you are under pressure, my belief is that's a deliberate rush behind. I think Tom Stewart had the option to kick and then chose to walk it over the line. Very lucky to get away with that one.
Interesting, Lingy, who is always all over the interpretations. A little wry smile there was from Tom Stewart. The Cats have faced enormous pressure earlier in this game. Tui, beautiful hands. What a resilient player, Zach Tui. He's been just missed 15 games in the last 9 years, Tui. Beautiful kick to Atkins. Can't kick a footy any better than that. Wanted to find Myers. The goal assist champ. Can he kick a goal of his own? He's missed.
Myers equaling the record for most goal assists in home and away season. 39 with Jason Ackermanis.
Yours now.
Webster for the Saints. Crosses the arc and then delivers to Hill. His kick partially smothered by Webster. Works out okay, bounces back into the hands of Jimmy Webster. Long ball through the hands of Zach Guthrie. Membry, little give. Now a chance for Butler. Pretty good finisher. Kicks and goals. Saints have got 3. Butler has his first. Coming into tonight, Dan Butler and Jack Higgins, the leading goal scorers for the Saints. Higgins 33, Butler 30, gets his 31st. Owens third in the line with 24, gets his 25th tonight. Then Max King, who's played so sparingly, he's got 1 too.
And this is the crucial contest here, just being able to get that ball to ground, not allowing Geelong to take an intercept mark and reset, allows the players who are following up St Kilda, those smalls, to be part of the contest. And Butler, no better forward finisher, getting there quickly and feasting on a ground ball.
Powerful start this is from the Saints. A real statement they've made. Bowes trying to fight his way through the corridor. Wanganeen-Milera was able to hold Dangerfield in his tracks. Here's Myers. Clever little kick. Pick-up was good from Stengel. Hawkins, welcome back. Couple of weeks out with a hamstring. And this will make the Geelong fans smile, seeing the great Tom Hawkins back.
Absolutely, they'll be thrilled to have him back. Thrilled to have the ball in their forward 50, only the second inside 50, and just the Saints pressing really hard at the ball carrier, which meant that there was the overlap. Stengel was able to be the free, and then the short kick hit up Tommy Hawkins.
Ridiculous what Tom Hawkins has been able to do. 4 All-Australian selections after turning 30 years of age. He was the All-Australian captain last year, and he's genuinely pretty competent in that part of his game. He's snuck it in, I think, just for a minor score, so a little rusty early.
Up the other end of the ground, guys, Jack Higgins back on the ground for the Saints, which is really good news. So checked out after that heavy tackle from Mitch Duncan, but obviously all okay.
Thanks, Lingy. Higgins in game 100. He's had some hurdles to jump over along the way. Super to see him fit and healthy.
Play on.
Including after that knock to the ground. Here's a chance for the Cats. Cameron involved to Dangerfield. Rare fumble. Dishes it off. Misses Atkins. Filipo. Out to Steele. He just works it forward. Only as far as O'Connor. Halfback for the Cats, and they've been under siege, the back 6. Pressure all around the ground, but the back 6 for the Cats have seen plenty of action early. 5 scores against them. 3 goals down. Early going, Dangerfield gets caught in the Cordy tackle, got the handball away. Myers squeezes the ball. Close. Now to Guthrie. Guthrie from 40 out, straight in front. Cats get their first. Get their first. Nothing about their night yet has been easy. Every time they've got hold of the football, they've been made to get rid of it quickly. There has been pressure from the get-go from the Saints. One against the flow. Inside 50 count. 11-3.
This is where the goal is generated from. Just Danger being able to stay with the ball in hand, keep his strength. The Cats able to just move the ball forward, going at 70% kicking efficiency as opposed to 48 for St Kilda, and that efficiency is just able to keep them in touch at the moment, given the Saints are dominating.
High contact, St Kilda.
Mitch Owens doing the backup ruck work as he's done for a bit throughout the year. Draws a free kick. The centre bounce, just dumping long kick. Cooper Sharman, and from the side, Max King. How clean was that take? Great sign that is.
It's a terrific contested mark. understand the importance he has for this St Kilda side. When your big key forward, just Radicale just loses touch with him. There's no physical contact, allows King to run and jump, and he's got that elevation to be able to soar higher than anyone else in the pack.
Thought his season was over in round 17. Kicked 6-1 last week. Big contested mark. Max King's got a couple of early goals here. Brilliant contested mark. Set shot kick goes straight through. You couldn't be more excited if you love footy and you barrack for the Saints. That is a sight that will bring a smile to your face. Max King, brilliant effort.
Just want you to watch here, Shannon Neal showing his inexperience in the ruck. He's the man on the mark there. The free kick gets given away. He should have let a midfielder take that. And as the ruckman, he needs to be where that ball is being taken by Max King right there. Great grab by Max King, but that's the job of the defensive ruckman to be in that hole to stop those ones.
Kicked 2 in the opening term last week, 6 for the night, 2 in each of the first 3 terms, and he started well again. Bruin under pressure. The side of the boot, tried to check side the ball forward, did that, not too far and not as he would have liked in terms of hitting the opposition player. Wanganeen-Milera, Cooper Sharman.
That is a beautiful kick by Wanganeen-Milera.
Stocker. Forward it goes through the hands of Membry. Falls to Atkins, who works it to Myers, who brings it wide to Holmes. Holmes just a little bit too hot for Cameron. No, he's happy to go off the ground. Thought he had to deal with it, did it well. To Shaman, to Sinclair, to Stocker. And now they can raffle it around a little bit. Sinclair put his man under pressure, got rid of it quickly, Crouch. And the ball spilled. Atkins took it but got taken quickly. And the Saints again. Filipo onto his favoured left boot. Floating ball forward. Lots of cats. Stood in the end. Easily enough. Bites a little off. Finds Myers.
Beautiful exit kick that from Tom Stewart. The most effective by foot in the competition. Now this is Tui, who didn't see a lot that he liked. Forward of centre, Tom Hawkins has got the hand up. Having to back himself in against Josh Battle on the one-on-one. Until he eventually tries to steer a kick that probably wasn't on. And Jack Sinclair, best and fairest winner last year, All-Australian. Maybe he's had a better year this year.
Yeah, I think he has. He's been fantastic for St Kilda, and surely another half-back All-Australian this year.
Beautifully taken, and the Saints now can change gear pretty well. They've been all out, go from the start, and just a little more patient now as Wilkie finds hard-running Mason Wood. That's a bold kick, had to be perfect, and it was to Wanganeen-Milera.
Sinclair lurking, gave off the handball, and then forward it goes. Another brilliant kick forward, this time to Shaman, who sees something he likes in the pocket. Membry has a bit of a weight up to the task. Strong hands, and the Saints can kick their 5th.
Well, it was beautiful ball movement, the change of angle at half-back, but then the importance to give that handball to the player running past. We just see it here. Just watch Wanganeen-Milera. If he doesn't give this handball, then it becomes slow again. But there, just breaks it open, which allows Sinclair to take that extra space, and the ball is then travelling with speed again.
Fades a little late. Job, in terms of how the Saints are prepared in recent years, we've seen them close their eyes, do some meditation, some yoga.
They can't run through the protected area to receive the handball.
Maybe the trance music at full volume is the way to go.
Certainly put a fire under them tonight.
It's got them rolling, isn't it?
Moving on. Wow.
You and I were ready to put the boots back on, haven't we?
Worked up a sweat.
Cats will be happy to see Jed Hughes back in the team. Short one's okay to Guthrie, but not really a lot of flow in this play here from the Cats, having to think their way through it. Tom Stewart. Normally something good happens with ball in hand from Stewart. He's given an opportunity to Membry, who takes it in front of Bowes and trapped it again in their forward half, the Saints. Owens is down there, Cooper Sharman. That's eventually what he does, is go the dumping kick. Long Owens is going to have a launch out, it bounced off his head. A lot of numbers back there. Atkins got to be good through the corridor. It's not. Cordy with the intercept mark.
Yeah, been really active defensively from a forward line. Be really pleased, the coaching staff for St Kilda, of how their forwards are defending the ground.
Outside 5.
Sava Radaglia will get down to Lingy off. Brandon Parfitt looks like he's warming up as Higgins puts his shot offline.
You're onto it. It's a concern down on the bench. Brandon Parfitt's taken the top off, so he's going to go through a more thorough warm-up. It's a Sava Radaglia who came from the ground in that marking contest that Max King took that really good grab, headed straight to the bench, headed straight down into the rooms to be checked out. He's had a history of soft tissue injuries. And given Brandon Parfitt's going through the full warm-up, I'm going to assume Radaglia out and Parfitt in.
Yeah, that is a huge moment in the game. Lingy will throw their structure right out. You would suspect maybe De Koning has to go back. They had him earmarked for more ruck work. So a big story early in this game. The Saints have jumped the Cats here. Cooper Sharman, good tackle from O'Connor. So Lingy's at the natural shuffle. You have to get De Koning back into defence, and I suppose young Shannon Neal, fourth game, plays in the ruck.
I think they're going to have to do it. De Koning came up here to take that ruck contest. Neal's waiting to get on the ground. I would assume that it will be Neal into the ruck. De Koning back to play on Max King. And they won't get to look at that forward line that Chris Scott was so keen to look at, where it was Jeremy Cameron, Hawkins and Neal. He's heading straight to Rowan Marshall right now, Shannon Neal.
Stocker picks off Max King, who's full of confidence, it seems. Potent early in the air. Got a couple of goals next to his name already. Sharman, Owens, deep. Guthrie got a fist onto it. Tui beaten to it by Butler. Higgins looks about, happy to go back towards Jack Steele. Off a standing start, works it forward again, almost for Rowan Marshall. Desperate Cats, Bruin kicks and hopes. Doesn't get a lot of distance onto it. Going floating back was Filipo, didn't get his hands onto it. Bowes going nowhere.
So just to clarify, Brandon Parfitt is into the game as the sub. Radaglia subbed out. We're being told by the club it's a hamstring injury for Sava Radaglia.
Thanks, Lingy. Some news for the Cats. Gets worse by the minute. Higgins doesn't get a lot on it. Little chance for Butler. Toe pokes it forward. Top of the square. King does a little wrestle with De Koning. Kolajasny gets the handball away to Duncan, who finds Brad close.
Cats have really taken a standing 8 count in this first term. They're just hanging in there at the moment. We know there's so much quality and experience out there that they'll get the turn when the momentum shifts their way, but not surprising. They're just trying to maintain possession here for a moment. Which Duncan, beautiful kick. Happy to take that one to Myers. Jeremy Cameron is the obvious next target. That's where it goes. Cal Wilkie. Come on, the elite defenders in the game, Wilkie. Parfitt, the activated sub on. The kick from Hawkins was perfect, and Zach Guthrie, an unlikely chance to kick his second goal. Only had 2 goals for the year prior to this evening's game. You get a chance to kick his second right now.
Well, they're just going to take their opportunities at the moment, and Parfitt comes in as the sub, and he offers them another hard physical player around the ball, and that's when the Cats are playing their best footy, is when they're physical, creating turnovers and winning the clearances, just having to absorb Saints at the moment.
Really cemented his spot in the team, Zach Guthrie, in the last 2 years. 42 games he's played. He just played 33 in the previous 5 seasons, missed that one to the near side.
Hawkins, Myers and Zach Guthrie, just the 3 Cats that haven't missed this year, Dar. So he's absolutely, as you say, cemented in. Disappointing miss. Saints by 18. Hill to Webster. Mason Wood was another who's had their career rejuvenated. Here's a missed as a Saint this year. Down the line it goes. Big fly in the end for King. Close, ran out of room. Well, Cats' equation is pretty simple. Win both and you're a chance to play finals. It isn't the first quarter they wanted, given what they've done in first quarters this year. They haven't been allowed to play as they would have liked. The Saints have been superb pressure-wise.
Marshall, his big frame, so hard to get around. Tom Stewart will be calling on all his skill and experience tonight. Here he is, taking on a tackler. Farms the handball out in front. They had Parfitt surging forward, but the Saints' defensive efforts have been elite in this first term. Here's Jack still tracking the footy again. Tui wrapped up by Filipo. Myers, good little step, got around Wanganeen-Milera. The kick will be okay. It's a live one in front of Hawkins. Cleared the path for Stengel. If he gets a good bounce, it's going to be an important goal. He gets a brilliant bounce. Understatement to say that was huge for Tyson Stengel and the Cats. Against the flow of play, 32 seconds until quarter time.
Udas, the inside 50 count, 18-5. So every time the Cats have gone in, they've scored, and their efficiency is keeping them in the game.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but Guyer and Myers here with the other assist to Stengel, and they've just been really efficient, as you talked about, Hammer. They haven't been dominant. They've had to withstand this Saints pressure, but they have been able to hit the scoreboard every time they've gone inside 50.
2-3 from their 5 inside 50s. 18 for the Saints for 4-3.
There's just one little concern there. Seb Ross, you see, heading down into the rooms, obviously with quarter time approaching. They'll just take their time, check him out. We'll know more at the quarter time break.
Off the ground went Hill, picked up by Duncan. Handballed wide to a bit of space. Jeremy Cameron finding himself in the back 50. Bruin moves it on. One last mark. Mitch Duncan has got to bullet the ball. Jacob Mollison, the umpire, says, Tommy, not going to happen. I think he knew.
I'm sure he knew.
4-3-2-3. Saints by 2 goals at quarter time.
You're watching Super Saturday on Fox.
Needed to take a couple of steps to his left to either one, block King, or then himself get 2 or 3 steps back to where the drop of the ball is going to be and launch at it. So you can't allow King that kind of work.
How much does it change the game with Radaglia off?
Look, it's huge. I mean, DeConing, when Neil's not rucking, he'll go into the ruck. So then it's Colin Jasny, I think, is going to play on him. And when they get that matchup, I think King will be very happy with the Colin Jasny matchup. 18-6 inside 50s in the Saints' favour. So Geelong will be happy that it's only a 12-point margin at quarter time. Here we go for the second quarter, live from Marvel Stadium. It's Saturday night football between the Saints and the Cats.
Perfect bounce. Second term underway. Marshall against Neil. Cats shuffle the decks in terms of the big men, and suddenly the Saints, the prime movers, out for the last 3. And then battle terrific in the air. Gives off the handball. Stocker had to lurch back, grab hold of it, got tackled, but got the handball away. Hunter Clark in the middle immediately. Stocker tries to get his way out of trouble. Dangerous tackle, the call.
Dangerous tackle.
Flicked out wide to Battle. Happy to go the little short option to the snub Hunter Clark, who's just come onto the ground, as he told us. For Joe Watson's cousin Seb Ross, I want to ask you about him, Joe. He's such an important player for the Saints, and I'll miss him tonight, but hamstring injury. He's had a little bit of history with them, hasn't he?
He has. as Lingy touched on, he played last week, but he was returning after a month, and he's a really important player for this St Kilda midfielder. Great two-way runner, really part of that link-up, and so he's a big out for the Saints.
It's not as bad as potentially looks. Could have almost been a throw for Crouch. Can't keep it in Jed Hughes, and the Cats have got a great habit of staying in a game. It could have been a 4 or 5 goal quarter the Saints' way, but it's just a 12-point margin, Joe.
Just have a look at that tackle there. It was paid a free kick against, and something that the review panel will look at after the game.
Duncan gives it off to O'Connor. Touch play on the call, as you heard. Close has a second go at it, beaten to it by Atkins. Ferociously works his way through. Early fly from Jezza Cameron, amounted to not much. Steal. By the call, back it comes.
St Kilda free kick, steal. Paddy, 3 metres, play on.
So the captain works it wide. Wanganeen-Milera brings it back inside to Stocker. Heard the run of Hill, who floats down the wing on the outer side. Max King not involved, might get some crumbs. Spills wide, Tui attacks it. Didn't take it at all. King ends up with a football. Gave it off, Windhager. Owens has got one. Little handball back towards King. Spins, gets rid of it by hand. Owens puts it to a little space. Higgins darts about, couldn't get hold of the football. Marshall found it, off to Sinclair, waits the little ball. Not 15 the call. Gresham gets on his bike, gets rid of the tackle, doesn't hit it as he would have liked, and it floats out of bounds on the full.
Well, the hard work there, Jade Gresham, to get through 3 or 4 Cats defenders, and you can see the shake of the head. He would really put that one through. They've had an enormous amount of opportunity, the Saints, early part of this game. We've seen a lot of this from Geelong. They've had to be really patient out of defence. A lot of movement for Jed Hughes. So it goes for something that maybe wasn't quite there.
Sinclair up to 14 disposals. He's one that really provides headaches for your opposition because he's able to take so much ground and space. So accurate with his kicking. And they generate a lot of their run and carry from that half-back line.
Dominant again early in this game. Free kick going the way of the Saints. Gresham, who likes to get things moving as a rule, happy to come back through the corridor. Wanganeen-Milera. Gresham gets it back. The call was not the required journey. So dumping kick from Milera to Koning and Marshall. It's Guthrie, in fact, down there. Marshall had the body strength. Claiming that might have been out of bounds on the full, but not going to go his way, Rowan Marshall.
Rowan, Shannon, here you guys. Going inside.
16 the difference in disposals, but it's a chasm inside 50s, 20-6. Crouch, Gresham now. Quick kick forward, front spot. The moment to Koning, bounce favours Max King. Can he circle around? Higgins gets hold of the football, slung it towards Membry. Smith got taken without the ball. Hill might just finish. Bouncing ball for Bruin. It's kind enough in the end. Almost runs out of room. We'll get it back from Stewart. Now Tanner Bruin. Not the 15 play on the call. Collar Jasny, not sure whether he's heard it. Doesn't matter much. Under no pressure. Back towards Henry, who somehow got rid of the tackle battle. Would have loved his time again with the mark. Saw a bit of it, but Brad Hill looks very sore.
He does there. You can see the right knee heavily strapped even coming into this game. Here it is here. Just as he kicked it there, pulled up short. I'll keep a close eye on him.
He's not far away from this contest at the moment, Bradley Hill. He's still limping severely behind the play. Cats will try and get it out of defence, but this has happened a lot. They've been so good at their ability to rebound it back inside their forward 50. Now they are going to go back to Wilkie. Crouch through the corridor. And Jack Sinclair has got his own footy out there. Disposal number 15. Most on the ground by some margin. Here they go again. Another inside 50 coming up for the Saints. Wanganeen-Milera, his eyes are darting around. Spearing kick. And Higgins has taken the mark. Just sheer weight of numbers.
Yeah, Exactly right, Darson. Also, the profile of the players that are getting it, their best users, Sinclair, Wanganeen-Milera are the ones kicking it in.
Doesn't muck around. Game 100, Jack Higgins might have rusted a touch. He's missed.
They're getting the ball in the hands of the guys that are their best users, and that's the worrying sign for Geelong, how much ball these guys are getting.
Terrific grab from Max Holmes. What can the Cats build from here? Proppy Holmes.
You can just see a difference in the way both teams shift into defence. St Kilda just keen to squeeze up straight away if a mark's taken, whereas Geelong sitting back.
Atkins runs out of room and options, then gets one in the form of O'Connor, who cruises by. Deep ball forward. Good chance out the back. Neal, not quite. Picking up cleanly Wanganeen-Milera. Off to Marshall. Not sure who he was looking for. It certainly wasn't Isaac Smith. Inside 50, the Cats go again. Mitch Duncan has the responsibility.
Lingy, Max Holmes limped to the bench as well.
Yeah, there's a lot happening down on the Geelong bench. Max Holmes just getting checked out by the physio. Looks a lower leg. And Paddy Dangerfield also having a few questions asked to him as well. So close watch on two key Geelong midfield as well. Mitch Duncan's having this shot at goal.
Kick four for the year, Mitch Duncan. All singles. Cats need this. Duncan delivers. Unbelievably, it's just a 7-point game.
See there, Patrick Dangerfield just in the throat there. That's what he came to the bench for. Got spoken to by the doctors. Little concern with the throat for him, but he seems okay now. Max Holmes is the other one, so who's getting checked out with his right ankle, going through all the testing. It looks like they're going to re-strap his ankle.
Saints will get their 24th inside 50 off the boot of Jack Steele. Cats have just had 8, and the margin remarkably only 7 points. Here's Steele following up his work. Centering kick. Cooper Sharman. Juggled to tender mark. Got it.
That was a great leap, but Darcy called about Jack Steele. He did the centre clearance work and then followed it up. Was able to then be the one that kicked that ball in again. Good pressure from St Kilda and really good follow-up by their captain.
Cooper Sharman was the starting sub for 5 straight weeks. Round 11 through to round 16. He'll be desperate to make the most of this starting opportunity. Good mark and good finish. Cooper Sharman. It feels like a really significant goal for the Saints. They have dominated play, dominated inside 50. Just haven't dominated the scoreboard. That was important.
Just see Jack Steele here get on the move, get the ball going forward, and then a good contest by their forwards brings it to ground, gets some heat on the ball, and then Bradley Hill with the quick handball out, and then great follow-up by Steele. Transitioning to the next contest.
Margin back out to double digits. Hunter Clark brought into the game through the hamstring of Seb Ross. Bouncing ball for Shaman. Kick the last, moves it forward quickly again. Max King given no chance.
Yours, play on.
100% sure Saints fans agree. Not 100% sure even Cats fans agree. Meanwhile, the Cats through the middle. Duncan, almost for Isaac Smith, gets there in the end. Back onto the left of his. Deep ball forward. Hawkins, Tui. Tui knocks it towards Hawkins. Couldn't take it. Cordy wanted Sinclair. Tui did enough to keep it inside 50. Look at this. You know what's... I think what Cooper Sharman's wanting, didn't he?
The intent part is where the rule interpretation is incorrect, because the intent is not to kick the ball out.
Always a touch confusing in that, isn't it? As Cordy picks it up, gets it to Windhager. Now, Dan Butler in good position on the wing. Thought about the release handball to Sinclair. Oh, he's coughed that one up. That was just a blatant skill error. And now, Graham Myers, we know how good he is at connecting with forwards. Beautiful kick. And Ross cannot believe what he's just seen.
Hold there. Stand.
Tyson Stengel, All-Australian, 50+ goals last year for Tyson Stengel. 24/7 coming into tonight's game. He's had a couple of injury issues to worry about, but this is well and truly within his wheelhouse. He's got it a little narrow.
They got away with one there. St Kilda just sloppy there. You can't afford to be giving your opposition any chance, and Ross knows how hard they're working to have this lead. You don't want to give away easy opportunities to the opposition.
Wilkie, game 107 now without miss as a Saint. That was a miss, so out of bounds on the fullback into the hands of Isaac Smith.
On the line, stand.
What a player he has been.
Stand, Hunter.
And the Cats. First player to play in a premiership for both of those two teams I've mentioned. Oldest Norm Smith medalist, Bowes. Into the pocket towards Hawkins. Sticky hands. How does he finish?
That was a beautiful kick. Just drew Hawkins onto the ball, put it out in space and said, come and get it. Just have a look at this. Just put it right out in front of him, where only he could take the mark, and he just gets his frame in the right spot. So good at forward craft.
11th inside 50 for the Cats, looking for their 8th score. Leading goal scorer for the Cats the last 11 seasons. Adds another to the tally. And it's a one-goal game. Hard to believe the Cats are keeping up, given how little they've been forward, but they are doing a mighty job when they get the opportunity.
We have a look at Jeremy Cameron here, just the 3 disposals so far, and the Geelong forwards have been starved of opportunity with only 11 inside 50s. I wonder whether you just throw him into the centre bounce for a period of time just to get his hands on the ball. We know how good he is around the contest as well.
To Koning. Managed to get it into the path of Jeremy Cameron, who Job was just talking about. They'll be wanting to find the footy more with Jezza as Hunter Clark finds Windhager. Always makes you nervous when you play a great side like the reigning premiers, and that was not what Josh Battle wanted to do. They've had a couple of bad clangers inside 50. Go the Cats again. We're getting back Cordy.
Just been caught out a couple of times, the Saints wanting to go fast all the time and not recognising that it's not always the right time or the opportunity to just put heat on the ball and have speed going. They have to play with a bit more balanced and tempo, especially when you're in defensive half of the ground and the ball's been slowed up prior. Generally, players aren't free, so you just have to take what the opposition gives you.
Real up and under kick. The Koning did well, got rid of Mitch Owens. Just feel a slight little shift in momentum the Cats' way for the first time in this game. Saturday night footy at Marvel Stadium. Never ever going to have an easy outing against the Geelong side with the quality that's still out there close in front of Dangerfield. Good to see Danger No ill effects from that knock earlier. Stengel trying to keep it alive. Cordy flicked a little one to Stocker. He's got to work hard under real pressure. Crouch was there to lend some support. Back to Hunter Clark. Clever kick. Found Membry along the boundary line.
Takes the diving mark and moves the Saints forward again. Higgins inside. Owens doesn't miss his man, finds Max directly in front.
That was a beautiful kick from Tim Membry. He was the one that was able to generate it. He pulled the trigger. He saw Higgins running free and forward, and then they were able to play fast off that. And that's the right time to do it. Geelong aren't set defensively. You're in the forward half of your ground. You can take a kick like that. It's when you're coming out of your defensive 50 and the play's been slow previously, that's when you can be more conservative. Great decision by Membry.
Couple in that opening term for St Kilda. For Max King. Always to the left. Just in terms of scoring efficiency, the Cats were 8 scores from 11 inside 50s. Ridiculous. The best in the league to us this year. The Crows at 48%, so sort of 1 in 2.
There'll be a sense from the Saints that they really could have made life difficult and got out to 4 or 5 goal lead with the amount of play they've had. But some work to do for Ross Lyon and his team.
Just watching out the back of this stoppage, Bradley Hill's back out on the ground. He had a big chunk of time on the bench with that sore knee. Ran out on the ground, really hobbling, limping. But he's going to continue to play out there, setting up just behind this stoppage contest.
Actually, he'll keep a close eye. Bradley Hill, they don't want to lose him as Sinclair. Enough pressure on Mitch Duncan. There he is. So alerted us to.
Such an important link player for St Kilda. Does so much unrewarded running just to fill space defensively. They will need his running capacity and power in this second half.
Well, Marshall with the experience and the strength advantage. Butler, I feel like he owes the Saints one as Dangerfield Crouch was all over him. The ball superbly executed tackle.
Time back on. Stand.
Under Clark, heard the call from Butler. To get himself away from close onto the left. Marshall now.
Again, it's an example of good decision making. It's a quick turnover. The ball's in your forward half. You're able then to play with link and speed. It's when you're in your defensive half of the ground and the ball's been slow, that's when players aren't generally away from each other. They're manned up. But a couple of good instances from the Saints moving forward in the last couple of passages of play.
2-1 for the night for Max King. Last, he pulled to the left. That's perfect. For Max, one straight for Owens, Butler and Sharman.
Just see here, quick turnover, and then you can go off the back of that. Link up. It's messy, but there's speed on it, and you're going forward. It's hard to defend him. Max King really shaping as the most dangerous forward for St Kilda, already with 4 shots on goal, and that Radaglia injury starting to hurt the balance of Geelong defensively.
Max King's got 25 goals in the 10 games he's played this year, having missed the first 10 and looked like season over in round 17. Incredible performance. As Joe Watson said, Looms is the most dangerous player on the ground. With all that to do with Sinclair can't keep it in. Great maturity, isn't it? Sorry, Lingy, for a young player. Looking at Max King down there, you're always going to be nervous, aren't you, when you've got a shoulder that needs some further surgery. He's coping unbelievably well, isn't he?
Oh, he is. You're absolutely right. And the ball comes to him so often. He's got to stand up under the ball, and he's doing it well. His movement's the really impressive thing. And right across the ground, you can see the St Kilda players have confidence in him. Free kick here to the Cats. Just one thing to note with the Cats, they have not had a shot at goal tonight inside 30 metres. That's how impressive the Saints defensively have been.
They go for it again. Wanganeen-Milera drops in front, off to Marshall, Hunter Clark, Sinclair, Hill. Now Mason Wood gets on his butt. Nothing really forward, so the lateral ball to Cooper Sharman. Membry runs from one half forward flank to the other. Sent in his direction, but in no way did that advantage him. Over his head into the hands of Zach Guthrie, who moves it to Bruin. Bruin to the Koning. Koning initially unsure, then happy to go to the one-on-one. Dangerfield, Steele on the other side. The skipper's shoulder to shoulder. Ends up with Crouch. Looks about the place, does a 360. Handballs over the top. Finds Marshall. Wanganeen-Milera works it down the line. Still, the Saints keep the ball moving. This time O'Connor stops it for the Cats.
O'Connor, another wonderful Irish-Australian rules football story. Premiership player last year with the Cats as they worked their way to half-back.
You just notice the difference. Every one of those Geelong marks, St Kilda is right up on them. Cooper Sharman just hurt himself as he tried to spoil that one, but they are not conceding anything, St Kilda. And again, they'll press up on this and create a turnover.
Big chance here. It's in the hands of Sinclair. He shares it with Hunter Clark. Cooper Sharman, you can see, trying to get off the ground. Higgins, did he get a push in the back? He has got it. Colin Jasny shakes the head, but Jack Higgins will get a chance to score in his 100th game.
Stand.
We need to update us on Cooper Sharman in a moment. Doesn't look great.
Yeah, just there, rolled that left ankle, just caught it on Zach Guthrie's foot, felt it straight away, and as he came to the bench, he tapped that left ankle. He's going to go down into the rooms for the doctors to have a look.
Game 100, Jack Higgins, he's their leading goal scorer this year. Just faded late.
But Lee, you touched on, Lingy, they've been able to really defend transition really well. St Kilda, Geelong just haven't been able to get any fast ball movement when they've taken an intercept mark in their back 50. They've been really good at defending the ground, the Saints.
And all the marks Geelong have taken have just been slowed down immediately because they've either been right there to try and spoil, or the moment they take a mark, they're straight away on to standing the mark, forcing Geelong back. There's none of those forward handballs, flowing play. It's been so impressive by the Saints to this point in the game.
All the ball movement from a Geelong perspective has been so stilted. Every time they start to move it, the Saints suffocate them. Sinclair to battle. A wonderfully weighted ball to Membry. Moves it on quickly. Max bounces in front of him. Couple of options, kick or give. Decides to kick and kicks precisely and beautifully to Bradley Hill.
Now, it was a beautiful decision. He just thought his way through it, King. The Geelong players were just corralling him rather than closing space. They didn't want to get turned inside out, and he was just able to find the free. We talked about Bradley Hill's ability to work rate. We know that he's got a sore knee, but he just covers so much ground.
Disposal 14 coming up. 90 seconds before the half. First score of the night. Bleed a minor one. Saints by 15.
Saints are 2-4 set shots this quarter. They have had enough opportunity to almost feel as though they could have put this one out of reach of the Cats. It's far from that. As Holmes,
Stand, Jack.
Short one onto Guthrie, and we've seen a lot of this slow play, short kicking possession game from the Cats. They haven't been able to get much going. Good luck marking that one. They got a great bounce. Henry to close. Parfitt started as a sub, cuts back inboard. Windhager read it beautifully. Still some time for the Saints to get another late score.
Yeah, defensively, they've just been really switched on, St Kilda. They're forcing Geelong to go down the same side all the time, which means they can make early decisions, come off their man. And it's really hard for Geelong to be able to find the frees or get really any dangerous looks deep in their forward 50, which is why they haven't been able to kick a goal within 30 metres of goal.
The Saints again seem to have the numbers and the composure through legs. Filipo gives it off. Gresham. The Saints start to charge again. Higgins sent behind him. Guthrie, Stewart's got to beat 1-2. Got rid of the handball. Bowes make it O'Connor.
High tackle.
Gets taken high.
Holding the man, reversal. Jade Gresham.
Heard on by Mollison.
It was your teammate. Back on.
Jade Gresham saying it wasn't delivered back properly. I want 50. Umpire Mollison says it was your teammate. Meanwhile, Rowan Marshall will have the last kick of the half.
Zach, to the mark. Zach, come to the mark. And stand. Go through. That's your line. Stand. Jump up and down. Zach, jump up and down.
So Rowan Marshall looking for his first of the night. Hasn't been entirely accurate throughout the year. 6-7 coming into tonight. The side, 16 points will be the lead.
Well, the Saints had their eye.
Playing on a third gamer, a fourth gamer in Shannon Neal, and just looked like in that late in that first half term, it just started to take a little bit of dominance.
Yeah, so you reckon he can press forward and kick 1 or 2 in the half?
Well, you'd think so. Look, he had that shot just before half-time. Would have been nice for him to knock that one through.
It's a big reason they're leading clearances by 7. Here we go. The second half live from Marvel Stadium. It's the Saints by 16 points.
Heard the call. Missed Hunter Clark in the end, but he wins the football ultimately. Gives it off to Sinclair. The tackle almost put the pressure on. Kick towards Gresham. Spot on. So early win for the Saints here. Into the forward pocket. King, Owens, Mason Wood, big fly. Having a career season, having a super moment. Big contested mark flying. From the side. Now it's all about the finish to make it a game-high lead.
Oh, tremendous courage from Mason Wood, just flying against the pack. Great concentration, but takes enormous courage to be able to do that. Terrific play.
Just a moment when he hit the ground just to collect himself, to compose himself. 16-point lead. It's just 17. Deserved better.
4-7, you can see 6 shots. He just asked if he can get the second Sharon off the ground.
Couple minutes, thanks.
On the side, Geelong, that you don't want to take your chances against Joe Butte. Get the sense they will come and ask a question of St Kilda. Straight up the corridor. Rowan Marshall, though, with his strength and experience. Powerful mark, heads back in the Max King direction. Guthrie's having a really good night.
Yeah, that was a great intercept, Mark. But you can see that intent from the kick out. Straight down the middle. They're trying to get a bit more aggressive out of this back line. Not allowing St Kilda just to hem them in and suffocate any ball movement.
Just to update something from the second quarter, that's Cooper Sharman who's just guarding the corridor there. He's obviously got a little bit of treatment at the halftime break, rolled his ankle pretty badly, almost on the halftime siren there, but he's fine, back involved in the game, which is great news for Saints.
Zach Tui muscling his way through a bit of pressure but couldn't keep it in.
And this is the problem. When you're not winning the clearances, then you're relying completely on ball movement, and that's what they're doing at the moment. Geelong, they're not winning them around the contest, so they're having to do it all the time with ball movement, not creating any forward half turnovers. It's hard to play against such field position problems.
The Bruin handball was terrific, allowed Dangerfield to run onto it. Sits up in the end for Myers, sidestep okay. Kick forward, off hands. Big ball to be won here. Henry to Cameron. Immediate pressure came from Sinclair. Steele exits the ball. It is going to come back through Jed Buse. Quick kick towards Isaac Smith. Still a kick and change from home. He'll try and steal as much as he can here. Kick towards the top of the square. Trying to cut it off in the end. It was under Clark, nothing really doing.
Just quickly, guys, on the Geelong bench, Brad Close hasn't reappeared after the half-time break. So Bowes, Holmes and Parfitt are down there, but no sign of Brad Close. Once I know what the problem is, I'll let you know. He's just walking around the boundary right now, and we don't know what the injury concern is.
Thanks, Lee. No doubt you'll keep us updated. Tui, about 65 from home. Cats on the ropes. Not knocked out yet, but they do need to find a way to score here. Crouch exits. Shaman takes the diving grab.
Stay out, clear out now.
Shaman, who had that problem just before half-time with the ankle, moves freely to Wilkie, now to Stocker.
A little bit of space to run here. Stocker takes a bounce. Might have been searching from memory, but Jack Stills in the path. Owens gets it moving quickly. Could build up again. This is an important kick, Mason Wood. You can see that he had Gresham in his sights. Oh, Jasny getting back. It's a Stengel. Can they hurt him on the rebound here? They really are attacking the corridor more. Sinclair, brilliant. Got cleaned up, though. Running past Dangerfield. It was a millimetre behind him, and the Saints are going to win a big ball. Wanganeen-Milera heading back the other way. Bradley Hill. Max King was the leading forward, but really good game awareness to come back in board aggression.
Oh, it's a huge turnover. Sloppy from both sides. They just weren't able to hit the targets. St Kilda won out in the end. We just see the balls fumbling around. Danger misses it, falls over, and then really clever here just to find the free, but a huge ball one in the middle of the ground.
Saints have had the last 6 scores of the match, but only scored 1 goal 5. Big moment for Jade Gresham. Looking for the first goal, the second half. It's not going to make the journey.
There's Hunter Clark there on the bench having a chat to the doctors. It was a big bump from Zach Guthrie after he disposed of the footy. He was hit pretty solidly, came straight to the bench. Doctors just talking to him. Don't know if those are questions around concussion, but once I know, I'll get back to you.
Thanks, Lee. You just wonder how much this 1 goal 6 is going to haunt St Kilda. Wanganeen-Milera surely here for the Saints. Gresham should finish. 1-7.
Start to build its own version of tension, doesn't it, when you continually have opportunities to miss. And if the Cats can go the other way, look at that, 110 from turnovers. So if Geelong can go the other way and kick the next goal, it's the momentum shifter again. Falling over was Jimmy Webster. Ollie Henry farms the handball back to Isaac Smith, close back on the ground. Jeremy Cameron been really quiet to Parfitt, into the path of Stengel. Going to cut back inboard. Goes to the voice of Isaac Smith. Just not quite getting the connection right. The Cats. Can they get a mark? Saints defenders might have been a bit overzealous. It's a free kick. Advantage is going to be paid. Holmes takes it. And that's the goal the Cats wanted. You can almost feel that coming. Happens so often. One side dominates. You can't kick a major, and Chris Scott with a pretty good poker face going at the moment, but he knows how big that is.
Just have a look at, that's that Hunter Clark bump. He's gone down for a concussion test. See the Saints medicos having a look at the vision. Geelong, really important goal there. Saints need to respond.
Little toe poke forward again All the Saints' dominance. Their big lead of the night, just 19 points. That's 13 as we speak. Tui towards half forward. Dangerfield took it cleanly. Battle put enough pressure on. Soccer came and then ricocheted towards Windhager. Now to Crouch. Crouch through the middle. Couple of Saints to choose. Membry rolls around. Sees a spare man. King had a little break. Thought about the handball. Gives in the end. Sinclair crosses the arc. A well-weighted ball. Brilliant to Higgins.
It was brilliant, Hammer. It was a great call. When other players were fumbling, he just had the clear mindset to be able to think his way through the situation, understand. We just talked about at half-time how important his run is. He's a half-back flanker and he's kicking the ball inside 50, but weighting it beautifully to Higgins.
Game 100. Gets his first of the night. Back to 19 we go.
Have a look at this ball movement from St Kilda. Just finding the free. They've been able to play fast footy against Geelong. And then getting it to one of their best ball users, Sinclair, who hits Higgins.
And a great look at the work rate of Jack Higgins as well there, Joey. Just motored to get back into the forward 50. Good effort in game 100. Parfitt slipped through the Rowan Marshall tackle. Mason Wood leads Isaac Smith to the footy, then cuts back inboard. Big one-on-one contest. Marshall cleverly fisted it forward into the path of Membry. Got down low, and now he's got to be careful to get it out because he's dragged it under. It did come back out. Bradley Hill put the afterburners on inside 50 views. Took a really good mark going back with the flight, Ted Buse. Former pole vaulter as a junior athlete, did really well. Athletically takes the mark now to College Asney.
He provides the option. He's acknowledged.
So down here on the bench, sorry, Hame, to jump in there, but there's trouble everywhere. So Hunter Clark, we think, is undergoing a head injury assessment, worried about concussion with that bump from Zach Guthrie. Brad Close has come back to the bench. He's worried about his body's feeling. Tyson Stengel also getting a lot of treatment down here.
Well, let's see how that plays out, Lee. Meanwhile, Jeremy Cameron finds O'Connor with a little handball. He's in trouble. And finds a way over the top. Floats it towards half forward. Neal goes without it. Dangerfield reached but couldn't find the footy. Cordy tries to bust through the Henry tackle. Went to ground. Owens to battle to Webster. Webster now on that left of his. Goes and finds Butler, but he didn't take the mark. Left it behind. Kolodjasny couldn't complete the handle. Saints get out of trouble.
Stand. We're really impressed with the St Kilda pressure at ground level today.
Brilliantly done, Tom Stewart, as he so often does, and then he poleaxes Dan Butler.
Hey, no. We just hit him. It's okay. We just bumped into you, that's all. Shaman.
Nice umpiring there. Giving the all clear to that one. Got sandwiched between a couple of cats to Dan Butler. Neal did well. Picked up by Parfitt. Saints fans have got a long memory about a Cooper Sharman insufficient attempt that was paid right there, Joe, but they're asking the question.
And rightfully so. I don't think there was anything really different between that action and the one earlier that was paid against.
I reckon Dan Butler had a case too. Didn't have the ball. Ricocheted from one cat to the other. Ball thrown back in. Meanwhile, Tui tries to get away from Butler. A handball to Stewart. Stewart towards Isaac Smith. Mason Wood forces the contest, did well, brought it to ground. Now Kalwuki gave it off to Stocker. Stocker to Hill, gets it back again. Runs the line, over the top to King. King needed to be quick. Bowe's got heavy in the contest. Ball spilt, taken well by Smith on the second occasion, and then thumps it long towards half forward. Chance for the Cats. Henry moved out of it by Webster. The Saints, for the moment at least, have all of the answers. Windhager athletically at full stretch. Now there's Saints everywhere. The kick though poor. Steele had time to give. Cordy over the top. The Saints go through Hill. Tui, Atkins clean enough. Inside he goes. Back to Bowes. Bowes needs to find a man forward of the ball.
Huge win, Tom Atkins, a moment ago that he sent this one back the Cats' way. Duncan plays on, looking for young Neil, fisted from behind, was well done. The Saints defenders have worked it well. Wanganeen-Milera, Rowan Marshall, what an enormous player he is, and almost a soccer bicycle kick. Owens claimed the mark, play on's the call. Cooper Sharman back to Filipo, and they've got a number out. The Saints can get rolling. It's Jack Higgins who works as hard as anyone on the field. He's got up to the wing, he's charging back. Butler got options everywhere. Why not go to Max King? Well done to Koning. Picked up Filipo, spinning, brilliant effort. Mateus Filipo with one of the best. That's a classy goal, first-year player. He's had a huge year, Mateus Filipo, and he takes his moment.
Just have a look at this battle spoil there. Just left his man, played the ball, and then the Saints just able to find a way to get it forward with the speed, and Filipo with the snap. Great goal, great team goal from St Kilda.
See the emotion, Mateus Filipo. The last two scores for the Saints goals after that run of behinds. Every score, you sense the Cats feel their season is slipping away, and the Saints get hold of the footy at half-back. Atkins desperately worked it towards Cameron, runs into trouble. Big tackle from Crouch, got rid of the football. Bruin picks it up, takes a bounce, almost runs out of control. Myers normally finds a target, does again. This time, Tommy Hawkins. Cal Wilkie, who's plenty of instructions, barks at his teammates. This for a quick response and a much-needed one. Cameron just got the ball away, and Bruin almost lost it. And Myers, clever kick, well weighted. Can Hawkins finish? 1-1 for the night.
Wanganeen-Milera to Wilkie, just slipping over Tanner Bruin, allowed Jimmy Webster to take the mark with ease.
With ease is right, Darcy. Have a look at the way in which the ball has been able to move out of the St Kilda defence as opposed to how difficult it's been for Geelong to do the same. Being able to find that free target all over the ground, the Saints.
Once again, as Joe Watson's just pointing out, the transition from St Kilda has been really smooth and dangerous. They get it all the way to their forward 50, but this time the Cats are there. The brilliant Tom Stewart, Wanganeen-Milera with the spoil. Nicely taken, Windhager, not an easy one. Getting crunched was Crouch, and then a huge collision, Atkins and Webster. Free kick St Kilda.
Webster. Stand. Time.
Just ice for the ball from Webster.
Stand.
Body on the line. Kept his body in line with where the ball was going, which won him the free kick.
Pretty big knee into the glute, Jimmy Webster. That'll be sore tomorrow. Kick coming inside 50 from Crouch. Out the back, Butler tried to guide it down. Picked up by Jack Bowes. They got to get Jeremy Cameron into the game, the Cats. Spreads it out wide, and then Jezza gets on a run. You can see trying to link up the second possession, but
but they are so quick, St Kilda, to just squeeze up and force Geelong slow back behind the mark. It is so impressive.
The Cats season hanging by a thread. Myers on the left, Hawkins the target, he's found. Kick had to be perfect, and so too did the bodywork to take the mark.
Yeah, it was excellent forward craft by Hawkins, who just, again, the bigger man, just protects the ball drop. Only needs one arm.
4-goal game. Becomes 3. The Cats hang around. The equation for the Cats is a little more dire than for the Saints. Saints need to win 1 of 2. Complete next week's road trip. So complicated. Cats need to win both. Back to 3 goals.
Well, Myers with another goal assist. It just puts it on the favoured side. And Hawkins, who has done this so many times before, understands he makes first body contact, protects the ball and the ball drop, and only needs one arm with that big frame to take the mark.
Saints trying to strike back immediately through their skipper steal. Oh, good effort, Cooper Sharman. How good a mark. Looked like Tom Stewart's ball, and Shaman, brilliant. It's an outstanding contested mark against one of the best defenders in the game. Badly rolled ankle just before half-time. Takes some courage to launch at a footy like that. Cooper Sharman, it deserves a goal, and he's got it. A couple of goals to Cooper Sharman, and that will be on the highlight reel for a long time for Cooper Sharman. He steps up to the plate, and exactly what the Saints wanted, a quick reply. Superb individual effort.
Just watch the midfield craft here. Brad Crouch, he's had 7 clearances himself of the St Kilda 21. They're 10-6, which means they get first looks quick and deep entries. 4 goals, 1 from clearances to 1 behind against Geelong.
Quick response from the Saints, knocks a little wind out of the Cats. They go forward again, only marginally. Battle. His kick smothered. Parfitt went searching with the handball. Crouch the first man there. Holmes did well, agile, then gave it off to Paddy Dangerfield, picked off by Wilkie. Handball to Hill. Hill at halfback. Wanganeen-Milera fumble, time to get and go again, pushed away from Cameron. Stengel, clever, worked it back towards Cameron. And Cordy, the end of the handball, gives it to Battle. The Saints can build from halfback. Crouch, his kick, found Hill in the end, didn't take it cleanly, but had time. Dangerfield lost his feet, then couldn't stick the tackle. To Crouch, to Sinclair, inside 50. To King.
It's been more and more evidence that it's a leg speed issue. That they just look faster on the ground, the Saints. They're able to get over to contest quicker. They're able to spread faster than Geelong. If it doesn't go their way first, they can come back quicker with more speed, and it's really causing Geelong some problems, the speed of ball movement, speed of legs.
Game high lead, 25. It's back to that again.
And some good news for the Saints on the boundary line. It looks like Hunter Clark's getting keen to get back out there. So he's been on the bench for 17 minutes going through all the protocols, but he looks like he's going to join in the game shortly. And we can say, I think that Geelong are playing one down on the bench because Brad Close, he was late coming back out from the half-time break. He then joined in the play, got on the field for a little bit, but now he looks to be done for the night.
Yeah, the body language would suggest you're absolutely on the money as always, Lingy. Tom Stewart, the roadblock back there for the Cats. 25-point margin. Important 3 minutes coming up. Cats desperate to get one back before three-quarter time. I've seen so much of this today, as Lingy's pointed out. Great credit to the zone defence of the Saints. They've made life really, really hard. Asney trying to work their way through it. O'Connor had to push hard to get there. Hawkins always dangerous in the one-on-one. You can see the call was there, but the miscommunication, and Hawks saying, that's not where I wanted it.
No, that's right. He was pointing deep. The kick came short. Just haven't been in sync tonight.
Ball kick again, but Holmes couldn't take it cleanly. Out of bounds on the full, the call regardless. Thought he might have touched it pre-line. So Holmes drives deep. Neal went up, but again, the Saints at the full of the ball. This time, Gresham. High up and under kick. Holmes waits for it. Mason Wood flies. Ball to be won. Charging out at Asney. Tries to take on a couple. Couldn't get the handball away. Got pinged. The Saints win another battle. 25-point leaders as we draw close to three-quarter time. Wanganeen-Milera. Jack Steele. Back to Wanganeen-Milera. The Saints playing with confidence. To Cal Wilkie at halfback. Now to Hill. Up and down the wing. He has run all evening. Rowan Marshall. A fair bit of the football. Disposal 16 coming up. Over to Hill again. Disposal 21 sends it inside 50. Cooper Sharman almost.
Watching that St Kilda ball movement there, it is a stark contrast to the Geelong defensive tactics. St Kilda able to play on when they take a mark, able to take the ball forward immediately. No Geelong players pressing up. It's almost like they're just retreating and living back inside the defensive 50. St Kilda moving the ball with ease.
Shaman really well. Clean possession out of the ruck. King's body use has been impressive to watch. He's getting better by the game. He's getting real natural, doesn't he?
He certainly does. And on top of that, Lingy, they're just not being able to put any forward pressure on the forwards for Geelong when the ball's exiting their forward 50 by the Saints. They've just no forward chasing tackles, forcing high balls. They've really been able to walk the ball out of their back 50, the Saints tonight.
Ball bounced in front of both ruckmen. Here is the dangerous Higgins. That's an intelligent handball into some space. Still gallops onto it. Back to Hill. Sinclair, can he get through the tackle? He managed to get a handball back to Cal Wilkie. It's gone barely the required journey, but it's going to count to Butler. Sure, that was 15 metres, but it doesn't matter now. Dan Butler could really hammer a body blow to the Cats as the three-quarter time siren about to sound. Premiership player with the Tigers. 30 goals and 11 coming into tonight's game. As he got it online, it's not going to get there, so they're still alive, well and truly, the Cats. 6-10 they are from set shots. St Kilda
could well be buried, the Cats, but they aren't quite yet. Stewart hopeful through the middle of the ground. Henry flew. Then Marshall sends it back inside 50. One last kick.
That kick down the corridor has not worked any time for the Cats in this third quarter. It's become too predictable. The Saints are just able to get re-entries off the back of it. But they're being forced into doing something aggressive because their ball movement's been so slow for the Cats. The Saints have just been able to suffocate it the entire night. And huge kick now for Higgins.
Socks pulled up. Not quite as long as they used to be. He walks in. this to make it a game-high lead. And continues this inaccuracy from St Kilda. So three-quarter time, they extend their lead, but by not as much as they would have liked. 12 at quarter time, 16 at the long break, 27 at three-quarter time. A step closer.
Yes, 3 T20s, 5 one-days against South Africa. You can catch every game on Fox Cricket. Mitch Marsh to captain the Aussies in the lead-up to the One-Day World Cup in India. But our focus, Derby, is on Marvel Stadium. 1 quarter remains, so Geelong trying to keep their season alive. The Saints trying to lock in a finals berth, and they lead by 27 points. They've been superb. Just time to finish the job, or can Geelong steal it?
Keep coming back. In true terms, they've had 11 shots at goal to 27, and somehow they've still got a sniff. They're still within striking distance. The thing we were looking for also was St Kilda to give us some talent of their own. And young Cooper Sharman up forward. I reckon this kid, it's a great centre bounce clearance here. He's caught behind, jumps early. There's a couple more layers I'd love to see him add to his game. But when it comes to terms of jumping for the ball and marking it in the air, he's as good as anyone, this boy. He's fantastic.
And against Tom Stewart, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's been one of the great storylines for the Saints in 2023 is their young kids, and then that's one of many highlights for them. Gee, the Saints have been playing fast footy as well, and Geelong moving the ball too easily at times. Geelong just haven't been able to cope.
We spoke about it at half-time, but still, the way they get out of this, every kicker for St Kilda coming forward is not under pressure. Now, try and watch, I know you watch the ball, but try and watch the Geelong jumpers. They're not quick. They can't get to the space, and they even look. An errant handball hits the ground. They can barely get to thwart the kick. There's so much space. They're doing them for leg speed, and the way they retreat is hurting them and putting pressure on the ball carrier.
You put it on that man, Patrick Dangerfield, pre-game. Huge final quarter here. Can the Saints lock in a finals berth, or will Geelong keep their season alive? Here we go, the fourth quarter live from Marvel.
Marvel Stadium, Saturday night footy. The Cats have got their season on the line now. It'll take something special. Can they get an early goal? Cal Wilkie. Stand. Incredible story. 107th consecutive game. Debuted round 1 2019 and hasn't missed since. Stand. To Webster.
Outside 5.
Saints are going to track it along the outer wing here. Crouch looking in ball. They really have played the game on their terms, the Saints, from the very first minute. The scoreboard could have been further blown out. Tom Stewart, incredible player. Disposal number 25.
Cats are going to put some speed into the game. They may as well lose by 10 goals, but try and win rather than playing conservative and slow.
Duncan. It's Neil. Now Holmes. This could be the first one they're after, just over the head of Hawkins.
You feel like the Saints have dominated the game, but they will start to tighten up as this last quarter goes ahead, and they're not able to kick away. If Geelong can stay close, I feel like the Saints will be the ones that will feel the pressure.
Shout, outside 5 play on.
Wilkie finds Webster, who's got a running option. Almost pulled the trigger by hand to Wanganeen-Milera, not the 15. Still time the Saints, even with the errors and the sloppiness. Nothing about that would have pleased Ross Lyon. He'll be shaking his head, running his hands through his hair, scratching away, thinking, how did that amount to a throw?
Jeremy Cameron on screen, just the 10 disposals, no influence in this game at all. One of the best players in the competition. I'll come back to you if there's any move you can do to get Jeremy into the game. Here he is. We know he can turn a game in a matter of minutes. Got that handball up to Sinclair. Marshall got over the top of Neil. Crouch went with the voice. Gresham tumbles it down the line. A one-handed attempt from Guthrie, and Bradley Hill keeps it over. What do you think with Jeremy Cameron? Is there a way to get him into the game?
Well, I think what we saw at that last stoppage is the one. Just push him up around the ball a little bit, allow him to lose his opponent. He's up again at this stoppage. Just get involved. He's such a good player and a good ball user up the ground. I mean, he's been starved of opportunities. They've had 31 inside 50s and a lot of them poor. But I think just having him up there allows him to perhaps lose his opponent in some traffic. You'll get it here.
And he gave it to Dangerfield, who drives forward again. Hawkins, back turn to the play. Cordy never took his eyes off the football. Eases it out to Mason Wood. Been covering plenty of miles this evening. Terrific kick in the end to Membry.
If he's playing up the ground like that, he has to get involved with the ball. Otherwise, his direct opponent will just be sitting back, and St Kilda will be able to absorb any high inside 50s. They've got to get Cameron. If he pushes up the ground, he has to get involved in the chains, moving the ball forward.
A career year Mason Wood has had. Starts this chain through the middle and to the outer side to Windhager. Over the top. Little chance for Rowan Marshall, who's been superb tonight. Filipo. Not a lot of wriggle room. Still a chance for Owens. And the Saints and Higgins. Higgins gets another. And the Saints skip away to a 32-point lead. Higgins gets another. He's got 2-3 for the night. And there are still scenarios that can keep the Saints out of finals football, even if they win tonight. But they're doing all they can this evening.
Well, you talked about Marshall's influence there and just being able to provide that contest, and they've looked faster at ground level the entire night, the Saints, in his 100th game tonight. Higgins with the snap. And he's certainly happy about it.
Can't help but be happy for Jack Higgins. He's had to deal with an enormous amount, couple of rounds of brain surgery. Kicked the goal of the year in 2018, and he's been huge again tonight. Game 100. Bradley Hill had a limp up early in the second term. He's powered through that hill, and he is slicing his way through the Cats here to steal. He had Memory on a short lead. Max King floats across the ground. Able to get off his man with ease at times tonight, Joe.
He was, but it's off the back of Hill's speed. We just have a look at him there. Cats players aren't able to close him down, which means that there's space all around him. Jack still could turn around, but that speed of ball has been really problematic for Geelong, and the leg speed of St Kilda's players has given them all sorts of problems.
6 goals won last week, Max King. We thought his year was over. For goal number 4, just hasn't quite been able to get the accuracy working tonight. A little frustration for Max King, but so much to get excited about at the same time.
Zach Smith. End of his wonderful run, getting closer. And De Bruyne. Bruin. Things made difficult for him, and then the long ball amounts to a turnover again. The Saints have got all the answers tonight and all the run. Windhager over the top. Speaking of a man who loves to run, 2 of them together. Zach Smith wins this battle. Have a kick around the corner to Parford, who goes inboard. O'Connor, strong, stands his ground, going to ground. Liam Stocker. And the Bows. Off the instep, kick not as he would have liked, picked off by Josh Battle.
That Stocker contest is just a perfect example of the attitude that the whole St Kilda side have had tonight. Just desperation to at least slow down Geelong ball movement. If they can't spoil it or turn it over, just slow it down.
And look at the contrast there, Joe. Look how slow Geelong are to come up and get on the mark or even contest it. They just get lucky there with a skill error, so there'll be a boundary throw-in. But it is such a contrast. Geelong try and kick the ball around, and St Kilda pressing up on every single marking opportunity. Even if they don't get there, they're there to man the mark aggressively. Whereas Geelong are just conceding them, letting them have it, and letting St Kilda work the ball down the ground and then get a great inside 50 look.
Look at the Saints fans on the outer wing here at Marvel Stadium. They are in full voice, enjoying every bit with what's unfolding here. A step closer to playing finals. Last time was in 2020, and some passionate Saints fans here enjoying what they're seeing. Hunter Clark, Windhager, inspirational Jack Steele's got ball in hand. Not his best entry into forward 50 ever. Koning in the box seat takes it nicely.
But told to move it on, Bose, and did quickly to Myers. This is where it's been problematic all night. Moving it swiftly inside 50. The Saints have done an extraordinary job making it uncomfortable. Tui hoping for Tommy Hawkins. Gets there in the end, but he can't take it cleanly. Spills over. So the Saints, all things being equal, get the job here. It is a nervous week for all Saints fans. The Lions at the Gabba win that, and you are absolutely home. And if not, you are barracking for the Demons to beat the Swans, the Cats to beat the Dogs, and the Blues to beat the Giants, assuming the Dogs get it done against the Eagles this weekend. And all of that gives those that support the Saints an ulcer.
They only control what has been in front of them tonight, the Saints, and they could not have performed any better here. Hager, half a fumble, picked up by Tanner Bruin. Duncan to Isaac Smith and Bradley Hill. Won so many premierships together, those two at Hawthorn. Here is Jeremy Cameron with a really clever kick to Jack Bowes. He won't want to waste any time in his 99th game. And the Gold Coast Suns traded in the last year for a future third-round pick, Jack Bowes. Still only 25 years of age, lots of work fully in front of Bowes. Can keep the door slightly ajar here, Jack Bowes. No, missed it.
The Saints impressed you tonight, Lingy?
Absolutely, Hame. I love their endeavour to take the ball off Geelong as soon as possible. And then the best part is as soon as they do create that turnover or they win it from stoppages, there's been a real intent to take the ball forward and move it fast and give that forward line some great looks.
Stocker and Hill, nothing clean on the outer side. Wilkie pretended he wanted to go over, kept it in, gave it to Steele, got it back, and then his kick stopped by Stengel. They got the exam paper early. They've had all the answers from the get-go, not necessarily clean in front of goals, had a bad run, but they've done enough, you would think, to have those watching on pretty comfortable. Parfitt bounces about. Now Cameron puts it to about 20 out directly in front. Saints through hands. Buse will get there in their end, you'd think, by Tui. Puts it into the back of the net. 26-point game. Cats, well, perhaps there's a deliberation coming. Umpire will chat.
Well, it is goal. I want to make sure it wasn't touched off the boot.
Score review. Umpire scores a goal. Please check if it's touched off the boot.
Review underway.
That's a goal.
Yep. All clear.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball is kicked by the Geelong attacker last, prior to crossing the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
We're just being able to generate a couple of repeat inside 50s. And there's plenty of time left. This Geelong side is experienced. They know how to score quickly. I feel like there might be still something in this game.
Ollie Henry, an unlikely centre bounce ruckman of Mitch Owens. Saints would love nothing more than to hit back straight away and try and take the wind out of the sails. But as Joe Watson just said, the Cats have had a habit for so many years of finding a way. You know they won't give up. Here's Tui. Clever little toe poking kick's okay. They've got to get the risk appetite dialed up. Mitch Duncan, get it moving. Short one's okay to Bowes.
This run from behind that St Kilda have been able to generate just hasn't been there from Geelong. It's stationary and it's slow.
Change of direction, kick goes back to the Koning. They'll get it to Stewart. Incredibly impressed with the defensive full press of the Saints. They're having to take a big risk to get through. Zach Guthrie's been good. Hands it to Isaac Smith. Look at the Saints come up and make life difficult. Jeremy Cameron gets it, and then you can see Jeremy's take it off. Will he get it back again? Look how hard he's running. Brilliant effort. Wonderful athlete he is. Can they make something work through here? One of their better build-ups for the night. Parfitt gets moving. Hawkins, the big, powerful, strong body. With Mason Wood.
Gee, that was impressive from Mason Wood. On this side of the ground, his work rate from the wing to get across, knowing that that kick was going to be directed towards Hawkins deep. That is incredible wing craft there. Just supporting his defence, get the spoil, reset at the stoppage. Great play.
A chance for Hawkins. Dangerfield tried to fire the handball towards Isaac Smith. Crouch makes it all pretty difficult. Just finishing off on Mason Woodley. So much of his career just unwanted. Not playing in the senior side. Now, every week, doing an extraordinary job.
Yeah, and just found a really good role for him. He's an outstanding athlete, really good runner. And obviously with his height as well, he's a threat when he goes forward, coming off that wing. But he can get back and have that part of his game as well, where he's helping defensively. I think Ross Lyon just loving what he brings this season.
Zach Guthrie, an important grab to Stewart, who goes past the circles towards Tanner Bruin. Again, Wood involved. Off his boot towards the boundary line. He will be happy to see it over. So 10 minutes to play. 5 goals for the Cats to get. De Koning front spot against Owens. Plenty of height advantage. The Cats in the end through Bruin. Again, all pretty untidy. And mounting.
But that's the result of the way St Kilda have played. They're just in the face of the Geelong play with the ball in hand every single time. So plenty of smothers, plenty of little miss kicks from the Cats because of that outstanding pressure by the Saints.
More than 40,000 in the house here at Marvel Stadium on Saturday night. Jeremy Cameron for his first goal of the night. Can't get it going. Cordy takes the chest mark. Releases the kick to Wilkie. Ground kick, an awkward one. Mason Wood picked it up. Really cleanly, Windhager. It's that contrast that Lingy Joe talked about a lot. The ability to get it from defence forward for St Kilda has been a stark contrast. Big Max King shared it with Butler. Clever little kick out in front of Higgins, but Zach Tui, who's awake to it. The Cats have just got to get going.
Bruin ambles out, takes a bounce, and then just kicks through the middle and hope more than anything else. Wilkie gets involved. Ball to be won. Myers. Bounce favours him, and then over the top he goes. Saints everywhere. This time Hunter Clark picks it off the contest.
It's really been the leg speed of St Kilda that's really worried Geelong.
They just noticeable contrast, doesn't it?
Yeah. They just have they've worried them out of the ball, even when they've got time and space. They're just obviously really feeling this pressure that the Saints are bringing, and then they just can't go with them when the Saints spread.
Terrific stuff from Jack Steele at ground level. Never lost his head or his composure. Got the handball away. Stewart Little one to Bruin. Stewart continues to chase after the ball. Now a chance for Atkins. Nothing easy, but he gets the ball down the line. Big fly in the end from Dangerfield, who goes up against Steele. Umpire will throw it in.
Rucks. Rolling, Geelong Rock. Geelong Rock. Jeremy.
Geelong have played finals 15 of the last 16 seasons. One of the great successful periods for a club in VFL AFL history, and they're staring down unfamiliar territory here for Chris Scott, with a miracle required to keep their season alive. Max King, athletic ability on show, tried to hand it back to Higgins, but wasn't able to get it.
Tui quickly through the middle. Bowes chooses Zach Guthrie. Guthrie now. Short ball to Duncan. Duncan to Bowes again. And then just a hopeful spiral that doesn't really go anywhere at all. Crouch tried to get a fist into it. Didn't work out. Owens went up, went to ground. Atkins comes and emerges with the football. Kicks towards goal. And the Cats are still alive. Four goals required, 7 minutes to get them. Against the flow, unlikely goal to Atkins.
Plenty of time here, mate.
Plenty of time.
Just thought there might be a nervous moment. Huge centre bounce coming up next.
Great play by Atkins, just ran with speed, attacked the goal face, slotted truly, but Geelong are close enough. The Saints have been the more dominant side the entire night, but they are the ones trying to defend the lead. Geelong have got nothing to worry about in terms of they can throw everything at it.
Another Cats goal here, and you can just feel the tension dial up big time around Marvel Stadium. Bradley Hill, incredible running capacity. That's disposal 26. Tom Stewart, he'll look corridor, pulls the trigger, got it to Bowes. Stengel one-on-one with Webster, big contest. They get it to ground, getting back Sinclair. A-grade star of the game has become Jack Sinclair, and showed all the class and poise that we now expect from him.
Desperate ball. Needed to be won, was by Sinclair, and then the cool head, neat kick. Now to Brad Hill. Importantly for Saints fans, the clock continues to tick. Hill goes long inside 50. Flyers from everywhere. Taken to ground in the end, Jack Higgins.
The Saints can just work the clock as well. They don't have to score. They can just take some time off the clock over this next 2 to 3 minutes, make it really hard for the Cats.
And the Cats produce a Houdini-like performance. Look, and the Saints kill it with one goal here. Floating ball forward again. Higgins flies. Guthrie out the back. Handballs towards Cameron. He got the ball away. Little chance for Duncan. Heard Kolajasny. Happy to take the bounce and weigh things up. Long ball, 2-on-1. Favours the Saints. And the Saints will win the battle. Wilkie to Webster. Webster to Sinclair. He's happy to mop up some of the clock. Now moves it on. Cordy.
Really impressive Saints defensive zone. You've spoken about all night. They just get to the right spots at the right time.
Been all over the ground. Their defence has started in their forward line. Just played in sync, the entire team. A great example of team defence tonight from the St Kilda side.
Bradley Hill just doesn't ever tire. Wouldn't blow a candle out. He's been enormous too, Rowan Marshall. Arguably their most important player, the big ruckman. He does a power at work. Slides that one inside 50. Jeremy Cameron's back defending. They Love to kick the next goal. 4:37 and counting. Little fumble from Tui. Good enough to get it back. Cameron working overtime. The forward handball was in desperation, but Wilkie with poise to Sinclair. The Saints just have had all the answers. Jack Sinclair carves out a little kick. And Mason Wood happy to take all the time in the world here.
And with Jeremy Cameron winning that ball so deep there for Geelong, Tom Hawkins is also on the bench. There was just no forward line for the Cats to kick to. The Saints had it set up beautifully. Jack Sinclair just patrolling everything. He's been brilliant tonight. 34 disposals. Mason Wood doing the right thing now. Just take the full 30 seconds. Wind time off the clock.
St Kilda have got the chant going around Marvel Stadium. Unloads a big long bomb. Shaman took a nice contested mark earlier. The Cats defenders will jam it out as far as they can.
Shannon Neal, front spot. Only one Cat forward of the circles. That's Ollie Henry running deep now. Myers has to beat a couple, can't. Jack Sinclair ends up with the football. Works it forward again. Higgins, he'll get on his bike and run hard. He'll meet Tui and roll him over the line. Not quite. Buse gets himself out of trouble. Atkins, short ball to Cameron at half-back. Little handball to Bowes. Bowes over the top, intercepted by Steele. And Jack understands the state of the game. Happy to go wide to Sinclair. And we're under 3 minutes now. Gresham. Close to the line. King flies with Rowan Marshall. Saints fans cheer, stand in their seats. We'll see an important 30 seconds absorbed. And Rowan Marshall will try and put this one absolutely to bed. It is an enormous mountain as it stands. A goal here. And the Cats' season will be officially, well, not quite. The Swans need to beat the Crows. They're in great shape at three-quarter time. Rowan Marshall. Kicks a beauty. There's a very good ruckman, Darce. Are you seeing a very good ruckman on your screen?
Outstanding, Rowan Marshall. He's averaged nearly 20 touches a game. He loves the work. He can take contested marks. He's a gun.
Just a big contested mark and fantastic goal. And Jack Sinclair's been enormous tonight, but he already has a TV on the wall, Dar, so it's a TV-esque performance for Rowan Marshall tonight.
Wouldn't hurt you to give it to a ruckman either, Joe. Underappreciated throughout history. Rowan Marshall
St Kilda.
is enormously important to the Saints. Paddy Ryder's retirement has just given him all the minutes, and he seems to thrive on it. The fans have not left their seat. Look at the joy. They are savouring every bit of what's happening. This will be an equal career high 37th disposal for Jack Sinclair. Have a look at the enjoyment the St Kilda fans have got at the moment. There's Marshall again, worked underneath it. It's occasion by Guthrie, and that sums up a bit of the Cats' night. Kicked it into the back of Neal. Can they get it? Oh, damn, Butler's got it. It's a party at Marvel Stadium for the Saints. There's a dance party in the rooms pre-game, and it's a dance party for Marky Carlin up here in the commentary box. Everyone's going nuts.
The scene was set early, wasn't it?
Incredible.
deserved the win tonight, the Saints. The performance has been outstanding for 4 quarters. And some cream right at the end for Dan Butler.
Marshall, brilliant again, works it around the corner towards Butler. Stewart under siege, so too Guthrie. Tui on the end of it all, works the ball forward. Saints all over the shot. For the ball, Myers gave it off. A little chance perhaps late for Henry. Busts through the tackle of Hunter Clark, gave it to Holmes. He retreats, gives it back to Cameron. He goes towards the pocket and it spills over. 36 seconds to play. They aren't officially playing finals football just yet. They've controlled what they could control tonight. It's been an outstanding performance. Late from Dangerfield, it trickles towards the line. Membry to the outer side and to Hill, who just continues to run.
He is the running man, Bradley Hill. 3-time premiership player, best and fairest winner with the Fremantle Dockers as well. And St Kilda, who've got 1 foot inside the finals, and you just know these Ross Lyon coach teams are going to be very hard to beat. It's the Saints by 33 points at Marvel Stadium in front of 40,000. A comprehensive win over the reigning premiers. Saints. Let's get the ground level with Cameron Lee.
Well, Jack, that's pretty special, isn't it? That roar, a huge crowd here. Such a great performance by the team.
Yeah, it was. We've really improved the last few weeks, and it's a long year. You have your ups and downs, and we started the year well, fell off a bit, but yeah, starting to hit a bit of form. Not too sure what's happening with other results, but yeah, great effort tonight, and yeah, amazing atmosphere. Awesome. You are one step closer to playing finals football. Yes, there are still results, and there's still next week, but it felt like this group was right up, knowing how important this game was. Yeah, we were really set ourselves for the big game tonight. There's been a lot of talk every week's a final and stuff like that, but yeah, we try to keep pretty level-headed and just focus on the process. Yeah, it's hard not to get caught up in the results, obviously, and think too far ahead and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, feel like we really lifted the moment tonight, and yeah, the game had its ups and downs, but thought we fought it out really well. Part of that process seemed to be just getting up in Geelong's face at all times. Was that the big one for you guys? If you could do that, you knew you could take their time and space away? Yeah, when our mids are putting pressure on, our forwards are chasing like that. Makes it so much easier for our defenders behind the ball. And yeah, at our best we're doing that. And you know, we've been doing it for big parts of games recently. Chopped off a bit against Carlton in the last quarter, but yeah, that's our one wood in there when we're winning the footy, getting it going our way. And you know, if they are winning it, dirty exits in our backs and mopping it up. And you were absolutely brilliant tonight. I know you probably don't like talking about yourself, but you almost had the poisoning. But that run and bounce that yourself and others had off half back just set up the game, didn't it? Yeah, I think our game's sort of set up for that, and it's a big part of the way we move the ball. And yeah, we're able to transition it pretty well from back half to forward half. And yeah, guys like Nasai, he's really improved and give us a chop out. So yeah, really enjoying it. Obviously getting on the end of a few, but got to defend at the right time as well. Well done tonight, great effort. Enjoy the win.
Class act, Statman there. Jack Sinclair had his career best 38 disposals in the game tonight, 11 score involvements to go with that. Let's get back down to Lingy.
Well, Maxie, from one end of the ground with Jack to the other, it just felt like the team was able to give you guys as forwards so many good looks at the ball.
Yeah, exactly. We had some great looks tonight, and that's on the back of the midfield. I thought Rowan was on top all night, and you know, we were moving the ball really well, So, yeah, it was great. We got some really good looks as forwards.
We find it quite remarkable, the fact that round 17, it looked like perhaps your season was over. You're coming back and you're in such good form. Have you just got total confidence in the body again?
Yeah, I guess each training session, each game, you sort of get a little bit more confident. And, you know, I'm lucky at the moment. I haven't had any real big tests on it. But, yeah, done a bit of rehab and it's holding up so far, so it's great. Was there any time throughout the game when a little bit of panic was setting in? You were absolutely dominating, but as a team, the goals weren't quite going through? No, I think we were pretty calm the whole way. Yeah, we felt like we were on top, but we weren't converting. But we sort of didn't go away from that and just kept playing our way. So, yeah, really positive. Sets up a huge one next week. You win that one, you're playing finals. Yeah, it's really exciting. And I guess when you have that dangled in front of you, it gives everyone a lift. So, yeah, we're really excited. Sensational work tonight. Well done. Go and enjoy the win.
Huge result at Marvel Stadium this evening. The Saints that one step closer to playing a finals football in year one under Ross Lyon 2.0. A 33-point victory over the reigning premiers Geelong tonight. Welcome to Super Saturday on Fox. Thanks to Kia, Dermy, Moons. They were outstanding, the Saints.
33 points. Apart from that late run where they had a go, it felt like they won by a lot more. They were dominant everywhere. Dominant at clearance, dominant in ball movement. Took 20 marks, Moons, inside forward 50. Normally that gets you about 140 points. But, yeah, they couldn't fully capitalise on their domination of inside 50s there. 59 to 41. Almost a 60-40.
Well, we spoke about at the start of the game. They're a high possession team, high marking team. They took 150 marks tonight. 150 marks. Wow. I mean, you spoke about Geelong's defence, how they folded back too far instead of coming up. Yeah. They allowed St Kilda to play their game tonight, and that's why the result was. It is what it is, and in all honesty, it should have been a hell of a lot more. Should have been 10 goals.
Not too many people would go to this game tonight and say, Ross Lyon's team, the team Ross Lyon coaches, is going to run and gun this game tonight, and he did. And Geelong retreated and fell back and allowed all those 150 marks pretty well. And look, Ross, there's no shame in losing a game to Ross Lyon in the coach's box, but I think Chris Scott will look back at this game in hindsight, and if he's sharp on review on his players and he's sharp on himself, he'll say, I didn't have a great night in the box tonight. They were moving the ball. We were assisting them the way we were playing against that ball movement, and I never changed it. Perhaps that's the way they coach and they stick to that, but it was never going to work.
Look at the scenes at Marvel Stadium, though. Saints fans, they know how important tonight was, given their last match is against the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba.
Does this give them a finals berth?
Well, what makes it even more interesting, and we'll go put the live ladder up whenever we can tonight, the other match on at the moment, it's only a 13-point game between the Adelaide Crows and Sydney Swans. Ooh. If the Crows can win that, it actually does the Saints a favour. So
right now they're in a good spot.
They're in a great spot. They've done what they needed to do, and that is defeat Geelong. They've won by a convincing 33 points at Marvel Stadium this evening. The Saints with a 33-point victory over the reigning premiers tonight at Marvel Stadium. It ends the Cats' season. They are done for 20.